All right, welcome to Those Guys podcast. Hey, so most of you guys have heard of IHOP, the International House of Pancakes. We also have an IHOP here, and it has to deal with Troy because he was the most pancaked center when we played high school football. Isn't that right, Troy?
That's incorrect, Chris. I think, I got a lot of pancakes. But no, guys, hey, first of all, it's good to be back. As you guys can tell, it's been a couple weeks since we've uploaded anything. A lot of that is just because of the holidays. I left out of town and went back down to New Mexico. Chris and I were able to link up, go to the Sun Bowl, had a great time. Got some content for you guys in the near future. We'll talk more about that later on tonight. But how have you been, Chris?
I'm doing well, Troy. Again, the Sun Bowl was an incredible experience, had a lot of fun, and of course, we'll go over all the insights later. But overall, Troy, no, I've just been enjoying myself over these past few weeks. Of course, we had the Christmas season and then New Year, and now we're in the full swing of things. So really good stuff, Troy, and I'm excited. Also, the main thing I'm excited about, Troy, is just how interesting these bowl games have been, Troy. So, what's been your favorite, maybe one or two bowl games that you've watched so far?
Yeah, Chris, man, as something that we've talked about early on in the season is these bowl games do matter, and it is a celebration for these teams to actually, celebrate a good season at the end of the year. I will say they could probably do away with a couple, right? Because I mean,
Yes.
we don't need 5 and 7 teams making bowl games and making it a little harder to make an appearance maybe at these games. However, man, I'm enjoying it. I think 2 of my probably my favorite bowl games that I watched. Yeah, I'm gonna add a third one in there too. The Hawaii Bowl. I think that one got me by surprise. So that one was on Christmas Eve, I believe, and man, it was good. It was a high scoring game. Hawaii surprised me. They came out. They beat a Big 12 school, or I'm sorry, an ACC school. Sorry, all the conferences messed me up now with all these old Pac-12 schools kind of mixing and matching, but they came out there. It was a high-scoring game. Timmy Chang had his team rolling, and it was cool to see the Warriors get that win. Now,
Yeah.
another thing about that game was Nick Rolovich, who was coaching for Cal, was actually the head coach at Hawaii a few seasons ago. He had left the Hawaii job to go to Washington State, where
Oh, wow.
during the COVID stuff, he ended up getting fired for like vaccination reasons and stuff. So it was kind of cool to see that reunion there. And Nick Rolovich was also a quarterback for Hawaii, tore it up back in the WAC days, and same with Timmy Chang. So man, it was kind of a special bowl. Another bowl game, Chris, that I really enjoyed was, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Arizona. Now,
Oh, yeah.
I know you hate games being played in baseball stadiums, Chris,
Don't go there,
but
Troy. Do not go there, Troy. You're gonna trigger me, man. Please don't say what I think you're gonna say.
but I thought it was a cool venue. I thought it was an awesome setup. I've been able to watch that game in the past live, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. But the Lobos came out and battled. Those turquoise jerseys, man, those are pretty sharp. Unfortunately, they didn't get the win. They went all the way to
No.
overtime, but man, it was a hell of a game against Minnesota. So kudos to the Lobos. Like, man, you guys came out this year and tore it up. So yeah. What about you?
Well, before I talk about the bowl game that had the most impact on me, Troy, I'm not a UNM fan. I'm a New Mexico State grad. Watching UNM and watching them play Minnesota, I was impressed.
Yeah.
Also, I think, and don't tell anybody, Troy, I was secretly rooting for them to win that game. I really wanted UNM to get to 10 wins, and I was a little disappointed when they lost in overtime, but that was a really good bowl game. As for your thoughts about bowl games being played or any football game being played in a baseball stadium, Troy, that is disgusting. That is despicable. It is horrible. I am shocked. I'm a little disappointed in you, Troy. You know what? Like I told you off air, we might as well just return football games to the polo grounds at this point. What is this, Troy, 1931? What is this, pre-World War II football? Should we bring out the Leatherheads? Like, come on, dude. They used to play in baseball stadiums and polo grounds before football was popular and they needed full length or full capacity football stadiums. With how much money football generates around the country, there should be there shouldn't be any football game being played in a baseball stadium. No, it's disgusting. It's weird. Our football games should not have dugouts, even though they don't use the dugouts. Still, the fact that the dugouts are there and there's sand. I used to hate it when we were growing up, Troy, and when you would watch a Raiders or Dolphins game and you see the sand from the infield. It was horrible. Before I answer your question, Troy, please don't ever do that. Please don't trigger me like that. I do not like football games being played in stadiums outside of football stadiums.
Chris, you mean to tell me you wouldn't wanna play a game or you wouldn't wanna play in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl?
No. Or the what? The New York Stripe Bowl or what is it called?
The Pinstripe Bowl?
Yeah, the Pinstripe Bowl. I was watching a bit of that game and the weather wasn't good. The players were slipping all over the grass or turf, or I think it was grass. And I was like, this is disgusting. I turned it off, Troy. I'm not watching this. And I'm a Yankees fan. And I'm like, I'm not going to watch this beautiful stadium get desecrated by two college football teams.
So
Absolutely.
one thing about Chase Field, they had a pretty good setup, and like I said, I've watched the game there. I've watched the Motel 6 Bowl game there, and it was cool because if you're on the top row, you're, like, looking over the stadium, like, you're watching the game happen below you. It's awesome. As far as, like, other complexes go, yeah, I'm with you. If the dirt is still present, that's not fun. So whenever I was playing at Mesa and we played Pima Community College, we played them in a AAA stadium at the Keno Sports Complex in Tucson, Arizona. I will say this, it was an awesome stadium. It was nice, awesome complex, and we knew that the locker rooms were gonna be awesome. We were gonna have enough room. You were gonna be able to shower at the end of the game. I mean, you look forward to stuff like that, especially at the JUCO level, right? However, I will say I did tear my ACL that game for the second time.
I
So,
wonder why, huh?
yeah, yeah, and I
I
think it was
wonder
on that
why.
dirt portion, but I will say, Chris, I think playing in baseball stadiums is pretty legit. I mean, look at Georgia State. Dude, their stadium is beautiful.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, I love the old Brave Stadium. It's nice and you see the Atlanta skyline and everything like that. But it's nice and it's beautiful and it's historic when baseball is being played in it. Not, Troy, when if I ever have a chance to go to a Georgia State game, I'm not going to be thinking about, oh, Georgia State football. You know what I'm going to be thinking about? John Smoltz and Deion Sanders and Chipper Jones and players like that. I'm thinking about baseball players because it's a baseball stadium.
Once again, I think it's pretty cool seeing football being played at baseball stadiums. Just like Portland State, I've always been interested in that school just because they used to play at PG Park. Now, I think it's changed. I think the name of the stadium is completely different. They don't play football there anymore. They go to like Hillsboro or something like that and play, and it's not the same. It's not the cool environment. But man, I don't know. College football in baseball stadiums, I think is pretty neat. It's pretty unique. As far as like a bowl game goes, it's supposed to be a unique experience, right? So I mean, why not?
Troy, we're just going to have to agree to disagree, right? However, to stay on track and answer your question, you already know what my favorite bowl game was. The Cheez It Citrus Bowl. And the
Because
reason
of the
is,
Cheez It or what?
well, I like Cheez Its, but the reason, Troy, is those Texas Longhorns that you love and I love got a good win. Arch Manning played great, Troy. 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 150 yards rushing. Really looked good. Troy, that was his coming out party for next season. He's letting the world know. Next season, Texas will be back in natty discussions, national championship discussions, college football playoff discussions, Troy. Just wait. Now, I get it. Michigan, they were kind of down. They just They just lost their coach to a scandal. So I get that the team was kind of distracted with all that. However, it doesn't matter, Troy. Texas looked great. I mean, there were parts in the game that were a little so so, but nonetheless, they looked good. And Arch Manning looked good, and I'm excited for next season.
Yeah, man, one thing I can't deny, he did look good, he had a great game, but, I mean, I'm looking forward to next season seeing him in the Sun Bowl, and I think that'd be a fun game we get to check out.
Sun Bowl, you're funny, Troy. You are hilarious. We are not going to the Sun Bowl. But to pivot off of that, how was your Sun Bowl experience, Troy?
Oh, man, I haven't been to the Sun Bowl in about 9 years. We got to see former coaches, we got to see friends, I got to hang out with some family.
Yeah,
Man, it was an overall cool experience. The tailgating was great, the crowd was great, and I think El Paso and Las Cruces showed up, supported both teams. And Chris, we got to interview a couple of fans from each side. Now,
that
going
was
back and
fun.
watching those videos, I'm like, my man needs to learn how to record a little bit better. But
Yeah,
but we'll try to upload as much as we can to those later on. So, I think overall though, Chris, I mean, from the first quarter, I think he even heard me. I was like, "Wow, it's still the first quarter," because I mean, both teams were going back and forth, fireworks going
fireworks.
off. I mean, there was a lot of action, from start to finish, and obviously, the momentum kept going back and forth. At one point, ASU was up, and then the other, and then Duke came back and won at the last minute. It was pretty wild. So I had a great time. There was a great crowd there. I don't appreciate that dude screaming behind us. That drove me insane. And I did
That
not
was
care for the
horrible.
fact that I spent $20 on nachos and forgot my chip bowl. But other than
You gotta
that, man,
bring
it
the
was
chip ball.
other than that, it was a good experience, Chris. Man, I'm glad that, we got to go and do that. I know that that little hill that we had to climb down whooped your ass, but I mean, it is.
And again, for our fans out there, our whole Sun Bowl experience documented. So we're putting that together, and at a later date, we're gonna actually share that video. It's really neat. I mean, Troy and I, as true college football fans, we love every bit of a college football game, especially a bowl game. We get excited about just going and seeing the tailgating, all the pregame festivities, the game itself, of course, getting to see the passionate fans, talking to the fans of both sides, and just seeing how much they love their team, as well as at the end of the game, seeing the aftermath of how the fans feel when they won the game and how the fans feel when they lose the game. I'm not going to repeat what was said by an ASU fan, but let's just say Troy and I were a little surprised with how
Yeah.
with how a few fans reacted when they found out their team was going to lose. We were
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
"Oh wow."
Yeah, I get it. Cause I mean, I've been on the receiving end of many losses, but I was taken back a little bit of how he reacted. But also, Chris, I wanna make sure to shout out Nathan and Sarah. Those are some of the fans that we interviewed, both from
Yes.
Duke and ASU. So shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for doing all that. Like I said, we'll clean up the quality as best we can. I guess they started having like bingo or some raffle during one of the
Yeah.
interviews, so that kinda killed it a little bit for us, but next time we'll show up a little bit more prepared. We didn't know really what to expect, honestly. We didn't know if people would be up for it, and there was a lot of pushback with people wanting to do interviews just because they see how videos are, these days where people are trying to make them look dumb and this and that, but shout out to them for stepping up and wanting to do that with us. We had a good time, and I hope that they enjoyed the game as well.
It was a great time, Troy. The only thing was I almost died twice at the hands of you because wanted to go on like a voyage or you wanted to go on like a quest, Troy. Instead of being like normal people and just using the sidewalk, you were trying to go up hills. You were trying to jump fences. I was like, for what?
Guys, so UTEP's campus, if you've never been to UTEP's campus, it's not very friendly, like, trying to navigate to the Sun Bowl, right off of Sunbelt Drive. I mean, it's hard to get to the little practice facility where all the tailgating's happening. So it's almost easier just to climb down a little hill. Nothing too serious, right? So we've all done it. And Chris, I don't know, has some weird fear of doing that. And then once you're actually in the tailgating area at the field, it's not friendly for you to exit and go to the Sun Bowl. You almost have to like go all the way around. So, and there was a ton of people there, and it was getting close to kickoff time. I told Chris that I wanted to try to beat the crowd, so I said, "Hey man, like let's just hop this fence over here in the corner because off in the corner, there's like a small little jump, and I mean, like you step onto like a rock wall, right? And then there's plenty of room to stand. It's not very hard, and then from there, it's like a two
It
foot
was
jump.
steeper than
It's like a 2 or 3 foot jump over the fence, and you're good, right? So
Troy, it
I
was
cleared
steeper than
that.
what you're describing.
I cleared that like no other. Well, Chris decides that he's gonna struggle over the fence, and I'm over here having to try to bail him out as people are walking by, just staring us down. So you guys might see a photo pop up about that, but I definitely have some video of my boy Chris here getting down that hill. So
It was unpleasant. Well, before we switch gears, I wanna show you all just some of the excitement from the Sun Bowl because it was a really fun game, and you could just see the energy of the game from this short clip.
Can they get enough ground game going to finish this game? They got 10 out of that one, but the ball's out of the air. It's covered by Duke, unless he was down by contact. We need a touchdown. Mensa quick throw to the outside. And it is Tayshaun Brown. Touchdown.
in the cereal.
In the cereal, huh?
Watch what he does on the play. Queso gets the ball, but watch what the receiver does. Drives him almost out of bounds. Man on man, stay connected and drive him out. Tayshaun Brown, what a day. And likewise, his quarterback, Darian Mensa. Sims. Intercepted by Margot, the same guy that ended the...
Chris,
Right.
I don't know about you, but I think I was impressed. I was pretty impressed with Kenny Dillingham and his Sun Devils. So
Yeah.
they lost. They had a lot of guys just opt out of this bowl game. But Kenny Dillingham, he had them ready to play because Duke, they didn't lose very many guys. Their quarterback played the entire game. I mean, pretty much all their starters came back and played in the bowl game. So I was really impressed. I was impressed with both teams. I think Duke played awesome. I think they did really well. And you kind of got to see a flash of how they played in the ACC championship. But man, I'm impressed with Kenny Dillingham. So I think he's a solid coach just because he's one of those guys, like, it doesn't matter if he loses a bunch of people, he's going to reload and he's going to do well with the talent that he does have. So I'm excited to see what he does in the future. And once again, I know there was a lot of people speculating that he was going to go to Michigan, this and that. He is born and raised in Arizona, in Tempe. Like, he is a Sun Devil. Man, I think if as long as the administration gets behind him, supports him, and he gets, the fan base to, buy into the NIL stuff, I think he's going to stay around for a very long time. And man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Arizona State making some noise next year, Chris, and maybe being one of those teams that makes the playoffs.
I agree. No, I'm a big Kenny Dillingham fan. I think he's a phenomenal coach, Troy. Yeah. I hope that the administration is behind Kenny Dillingham and they give him the necessary resources to build a championship contender. You saw what he did with Scadaboo and that team last year. They went to the college football playoff and made some noise. So yeah, who knows? I'm curious to see who's going to be their quarterback next year and what they can do from there.
I got to check my eligibility, Chris. That might be me.
Yeah, maybe you might have or you might have one semester, Troy, half of the year.
Yeah, I have a year, but I don't think I have any more ACLs left.
At this point, Troy, just go play in one of those 37U leagues.
No, dude. Hey, there ain't no insurance doing that, man.
I'm
You
watching
gotta show up to
some
work the next day.
of those guys. I'm like, is this worth it?
Yeah, I mean, man, ball is life, I guess, but yeah, more power to you.
Man, Troy, I think they're putting out more money than what they're getting back in
Yeah,
fun experience.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Definitely. All right, Troy. Well, moving on. Do you want to talk a little bit about the D3 national championship and
Yeah,
what happened?
guys, in case you guys missed it, man, well, as of right now, we got the D1 FCS championship going on. Right now, Montana State and Illinois are going back and forth. Great quality football. Illinois State has played 4 playoff games on the road, and they have won every single one of them. That is hard to do. I was pulling for them, but I know they're kinda getting, beat right now, so we'll see what happens. But as far as the Division II national championship, man, we ended the season with Ferris State pulling away. So, Ferris State, man, they played quick, fast football. Harding, they tried to bust out the triple option, made a couple errors, had a couple turnovers, and unfortunately got behind. With that offense, if you're going to run a triple option type of offense, if you get behind early, it's going to be tough to catch up. But they had a couple of good, the quarterback would drop back and drop a couple bombs here and there. But they ended up losing 42-21. However, it was a good game. Congrats to both. As far as the D3 national championship goes, Chris, I had fun watching it. So it was played in Canton. It was played in the Hall of Fame Stadium over there in Canton, Ohio. Man, so you had a team in there that hasn't been to the national championship ever, and they haven't been to the playoffs since I think the early 2000s or the 90s. It was University of Wisconsin Riverside and River Falls. I'm sorry, not Riverside. We're on Riverside, but University of Wisconsin River Falls, and man, their quarterback, Caleb Blaha, yes, that's his name, Blaha, had an awesome game. So they were down early. They fought their way back and ended up winning the school's first national championship for D3. It was a fun game. There was good quality football. I think early on there was a couple turnovers, but man, those kids, they have a lot of heart, a lot of passion. And if you ever want to just kind of go back in time and to a place where college football was college football, where kids had, I mean, there was true passion for the game, and not this NIL stuff happening, because D3, they don't even have scholarships, right? But man, it's cool. So it's cool to kind of see those guys compete. I had fun watching the game. I was happy for them. I was happy for the coach, because a couple years ago in 2019, they didn't even have a winning record. I think they had like 15 straight seasons of losing records. So good for them. University of Wisconsin, um, River Falls, congrats on your national championship, and man,
He
make sure you
sets
guys
the
enjoy it.
record, and then he sets the tone with the touchdown, spreading the defense out, and then they
Right
eventually
here's
take shots
Caleb
down the field.
Blaha's highlights for the game.
Blaha in trouble, escapes it, first down, marching into the red zone. How do you not love Caleb Blaha? And with that run, he passes Joe Burrow for most yards of total offense in the history of college football. Hit pay dirt here, Jay. Blaha calls his own number, pushing in, touchdown River Falls! Caleb Blaha gives the Falcons the lead for the first time tonight. He sets the record, and then he sets the tone with the touchdown, spreading the defense out, and then they eventually take shots down the field. Blaha in trouble, escapes it, first down.
I think you play the same. Yeah, it's just replaying.
He's
Caleb,
a true
congrats,
Troy.
man. Yeah, no, he tore it up, and congrats, man. You don't even know this yet, but you're gonna get a those guys hat here pretty soon. You don't even know it yet, but we're gonna send one out to you. So congratulations on your national championship victory, and hopefully you guys can carry the momentum next year.
Yeah, shout out to Caleb Blaha. Incredible game. So, Troy, thank you for those insights on the D3 national championship and then the D2 national championship. As the game, I know the game's being played right now, but What are you excited about when it comes to our FCS national championship?
Man, honestly, so it's a good score right now, actually. Illinois State is driving and they're down 28-21. Man, at first I was pulling for Montana State to win the national championship. I always like the Big Sky schools. I like Montana, Montana State. You know, those schools are awesome and both programs have come a long way. What I will say is I became a fan of Illinois State whenever I found out that they had to play every playoff game on the road,
Oh,
literally from coast to coast. They played in Pennsylvania, they played in UC Davis in California. They literally had to travel everywhere. And man, I believe they even went to Texas and played one of the Texas schools there. And the fact that they won all four of those games on the road, made it to the national championship, and now they're playing in Tennessee, which, in my opinion, I'm glad that they moved it to Vanderbilt Stadium because, man, it's a sweet venue right now. And it looks so much better than the Frisco setup because they could actually fit a lot more fans there. And people showed out. So, man, I was kind of hoping to see Illinois State kind of pull it off. I think that would be cool.
okay, great. Yeah, and I wanna see Illinois State. I hope they could pull it out. I wanna see them win as well, so we'll see how this game finishes, right?
Yeah, and my apologies. So last week, whenever we were in town, we actually made some posts. We thought the national championship game was happening that night. We were excited talking about it. And come to find out, I told Chris, I'm like, dude, I have my dates all mixed up. That's next
That isn't
week.
the first time. Troy, think people aren't going to think we're a credible news source, Troy.
A news source. All my
Well,
stuff
we're
isn't news based.
eventually
I'm opinionated.
Troy, eventually we're going to become a news source for college football.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But no, my bad on that, guys. And hopefully you guys got to check it out tonight.
Definitely. All right, Troy. Well, moving up to the big dogs, FBS. So, college football playoff. We see that we're down to four. Oregon, Miami,
Are you able
Indiana.
to bring up the whole bracket, Chris, for the whole playoffs?
Yes, give me a second. But
No,
Ole
no, you're
Miss,
fine.
which Troy, talk a little bit about what's significant about Ole Miss's quarterback and Ferris State.
Yeah, so he actually played at Ferris State. He sat out a year or two, in that program, and his teammates before him actually got to win a national championship. So he had to kind of sit there and whenever it was his turn, he won a national championship at Ferris State and then transferred to Ole Miss. So that just goes to show you it doesn't matter what level, especially these days with the way that the transfer portal works and everything. All you need is an opportunity, whether it's, D3, D2, D1, but to really just showcase, your skills, and you never know what position you're going to put yourself in. But this kid was playing Division 2 ball and, playing on the biggest stage at the D2 level. Now he's playing at the biggest level of college football right now, and they are advancing. And, we'll see what happens next week against Miami.
No, exactly. And again, it just goes to show, Troy, that number one, watch lower tier college football because it is high level football, even if it's classified as Division 2 or Division 3 or NAIA or FCS. You're gonna see some really good athletes out there. Don't
Yeah.
fool you. These are really good athletes. I mean, they made it to the college football level. I mean, Troy, you know this. How hard is it for high school players to get looked at by any school? Let
Yeah.
alone, you know, let alone Division 2 or FCS programs, right? So
Yeah.
it's great football. And then you never know. Some of these guys, they have full careers there. Look at some of the players in the NFL that come from NAIA schools, Division 3, Division 2 schools, right? And our FCS schools. And then also too, and then you got the guys that, they do a few years and then they transfer to the FBS level and now they're on center stage. So you just never know who you're gonna
Yeah.
watch. Mm.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, that's that's where you catch like the Diego Pavias, the Trinidad, Chamblises, and all those guys. You just never know what's gonna happen. A couple years ago, Pavia was out here at NMSU and even realized that he was gonna be, turning heads and be a Heisman runner up. So man, it's cool to see. Pay attention to the small schools, especially now. Like I said, with the transfer rules, it's completely different. You're going to see a lot of players just, getting opportunities after opportunity. So it's kind of cool to see that part of the college football playoff or college football world expanding a little bit. But man, you're going to see quality football at all three levels, all four levels of 5 levels technically if you're counting JUCO and NAIA. So, a lot of these schools, man, I mean, it doesn't matter, what you did in high school. When you get to these colleges, you realize everyone is good. So,
Yeah,
I've experienced that at the D2 level. I've experienced it at the NAIA level and JUCO level. Like, everyone is good. So, it's a, good opportunity. Whatever school comes calling, whether it's NAIA, D3, D2, man, make sure you take them serious and really do your research on the school because you could find a good place to play and give yourself those opportunities.
exactly. And again, Troy, thinking about some of our local high school football athletes, like Troy said, take it serious. If you get offered by one of these schools, even if you're not set on going there, go through the process, right? Enjoy talking to the coaching staff, enjoy talking to the recruiters. If they give you an opportunity to do a campus visit, go do it. Soak in the experience, right? And just really live up the recruiting process because if you're lucky, if you're lucky, Troy, some people go through it multiple times, but honestly, for most students or for most high school football players that get that opportunity, they might only go through it once, right?
Yeah.
So really, really soak that in and enjoy that recruiting experience. And regardless of what school is recruiting you, do your due diligence and enjoy the process.
So I did 2 recruiting trips. I should have done all my trips whenever I was, in the process. I did an unofficial one at University of New Mexico, and that experience compared to my official one at, like, Western New Mexico, University, which is Division II, completely different. But, man, there's nothing in Silver City, New Mexico, right? And Western New Mexico is a small school. However, when you go on those visits, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna see a lot of the good stuff that team has done or has to offer, right? And so, and it's usually the players. You're usually assigned to a couple players, and they show you a good time. So man, yeah, check out all your, especially if the school's willing to pay for you to come out there and fly you out there, take advantage of it. Go out there,
Yeah,
check it out. Go to a new part of, the United States that you haven't seen before or like a new area and really take advantage of it, man.
exactly. No, exactly. All right, Troy. So now, looking at the FBS college football playoff bracket, what surprised you in the quarterfinals, Troy? I know there was a couple things that surprised me.
Well, Chris, I'm gonna kind of go back since we haven't put out an episode here pretty soon. I'm gonna say this. The first round, okay? Whenever everyone was upset that two group of 5 schools made it, man, I don't hate it at all. I know people were like, "Oh, Notre Dame got screwed over. Oh, like, whatever." Man, I think you gotta give those group of 5 schools something to play for, right? Whether even if it's just one slot in the playoffs, you gotta give them something to play for, and that's gonna make it more interesting throughout the year. Um,
True.
and I thought both teams competed. Now, obviously, people are gonna look at this final score from Tulane and Ole Miss, 41-10. And man, I will say this, it was a lot closer than that because the first half, at halftime, it was only 17-3. And Tulane had made some critical errors because their offense was marching up and down the field on a tough Ole Miss defense.
Yeah.
They had a chance to get a touchdown early on. They messed up by throwing a pick in the end zone. They had a chance to convert a fourth down while on another drive in Ole Miss territory, and guess what? Have a silly drop pass to a wide receiver who was wide open. Um, Man, it could have been a little bit different. I think their defense spent a little too much time out on the field. When you do that against an SEC offense, it's going to wear you down a little bit. A lot of people were talking about James Madison. They did not have a fast start, man, but I'll tell you what, they kept it interesting, especially the second half. And I know Oregon got some late points. That team though, it was a pretty solid game towards the second half. James Madison competed their butts off, and credit to those guys. They were at FCS. They're playing in the FCS championship a couple years ago, so they've handled the transition really well. And I know a lot of people were pretty upset with Miami and Texas A&M. Now, yes, it was a low-scoring affair. I think it was like 3-0 at halftime. But Chris, what people aren't realizing now is this is good football. Like, this is what happens when good teams play good teams. Like, you had Texas Tech um, be dominant all throughout the year offensively. They put up 0 points against Oregon. So you're gonna see some cool stuff like that. And that's another thing about these group of five schools that, kind of got, you know, uh, kind of got beat up a little bit. They play teams that are advancing to the semifinals now. So these teams kind of whooped up on some bigger schools too. Um, so man, I mean, I like the playoffs. It has been pretty entertaining to this point. I was a little taken back. I didn't think Miami was going to pull it out against Ohio. Well, I did because I told you at the Sun Bowl that they were. But I thought it was going to be a pretty close game. But man, Miami handled business. I wasn't expecting the Ole Miss uh, and Georgia's game. I wasn't expecting that at all. Georgia or Ole Miss came out there, man, and surprised me. So I knew it was going to be closer, but I didn't know that they were going to win.
Exactly. No, Troy, and um, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't James Madison kind of short-staffed too?
Man, I believe so. I can't remember if it was guys that were leaving after the playoffs or before the playoffs. But yes, I know that they kind of took a hit. So, um, but their head coach was on his way out. Um, so yeah, stuff like that does play a key role in the playoffs. And I thought Ole Miss, for instance, I mean, I didn't expect them to do anything in the playoffs, but um,
They're on a
they kind of
mission, Troy.
surprised me. What's up?
I said they're on a mission.
Yeah, they are, and I wouldn't mind seeing, dude. I truly wouldn't mind seeing an Indiana Ole Miss national championship. I really wouldn't mind that because
That'd be
both
such a feel
teams.
good story.
Yeah, I would want either team to win. So, so
Coming from an
that's who I'm
LSU
pulling
fan
for.
too, huh?
What's up?
And I said, that's coming from an LSU fan.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and Lane Kiffin will get a little bit more money.
There we go. No, Troy, very interesting. To me, the teams that have been winning, at least in the quarterfinals, right? You broke down the first round, but in the quarterfinals, to me, the teams that won were the hungrier teams, in my opinion. Like, I think many people thought Ohio State, they were going to beat Miami because Ohio State's been the top dogs all year until the Indiana game. Um, I think many people thought Georgia was going to beat Ole Miss. Kirby Smart, he's been there before. They've won national championships. Alabama, there's still so many Alabama homers, even though Alabama, this isn't the Saban Alabama team, but still, so many people that Alabama was going to whoop up on Indiana. And then with Texas Tech spending all that money, I think many people thought Texas Tech was going to give Oregon a game, but that didn't happen. I mean, Oregon, they looked poised. Indiana, they beat the brakes off Alabama. Hey, Mendoza and his squad looked good. The defense looked great. Ole Miss, again, they had that tough win against Georgia, and they're just chugging along. You know, they're highly motivated off of their disdain for Lane Kiffin, whatever works, right?
Yeah,
And then you had Miami with that really good defense, right? And of course, a super hyped up, Troy, I wouldn't even say I don't know the official term for the duck that Miami has, but I don't even think that duck or whatever it is. I forget. They have an actual name for it, but it's a duck, right?
Yeah.
But I don't even think that's their mascot. Their true mascot is a super hyped up, out of control Michael Irvin. And I don't know what is going on over there, Troy, but Michael Irvin, I guess he's like their spirit animal, and his passion leads them to victory, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you see that dude whipping out his belt and just smacking the crap
Throwing
out
the
of a
crowd,
trash
right?
can. I'm like, "Jeez." Hey, Chris, just to kinda keep you updated right now as we're recording, Illinois State has tied up the game with Montana State. So it's 28
What?
all right now, and they're driving on Montana State, and
Oh,
there's like 2 minutes left. So just to kinda keep you posted on that. So, by the end of this episode, we might have a new, FCS champion here, so
it, all right, Troy, because I'm not going to be able to end this episode without figuring out what the duck is that Miami has. It's called an ibis. So it's a
okay.
white marsh bird, Troy. It's actually not a duck. It's a white marsh bird and it's regional to Florida or that area, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to see that everywhere. But it was mistaken for a duck, but it's not. It's an ibis.
See, I don't know if it was like a pelican, like Louisiana has a pelican, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it was something similar to that.
So Troy, just know whenever you go and mess with the Hurricanes, you got to mess with Sebastian the ibis.
Or Michael Irvin, unless
Like,
Michael
word,
Irvin
he
gets
might
a
whip
hold of you.
that belt out and get you out. A little
Oh, man,
BTA
yeah.
action, huh?
Yeah, so, that'd be
Yeah.
funny if you're over here trashing the Hurricanes and stuff, and you're over here, and then, Michael Irvin actually catches this podcast for whatever random reason, right? He's just bored on his phone one day, and then, pays you a visit, gives you the built-to-ass whooping.
Shut your mouth.
Oh, man.
Man, Troy.
But overall, Chris, it was a good break, man. Great holidays. So yeah, and guys, we're still working on the guest speaker stuff. It's tough to kind of set some time aside. There's only a couple days that works for me and Chris, and try to get that lined up. We're working on it. I know we promised you guys that last episode, but we're gonna get it out here pretty soon. Another thing, as you can tell, we're working on merchandise, guys. We're working on it. So tell us what you think of the design. Obviously, it's kind of just like a you know, prototype a little bit. We're kind of playing with different designs, different logos, and we're gonna go from there. So
And again, Kayla Blah. I hope you're looking forward to your those guys merchandise. We will be sending you a couple things, so hopefully you enjoy it. But Troy, before we sign off, there's something I need to get off my chest. And it's not taco meat.
yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say, is it the taco meat?
No, it's not the taco meat. That's for another day. But Troy, I am sick and tired of this college football schedule where all these transfers are happening before the playoffs, during bowl games. It's a mess, Troy.
Yeah,
So there needs to be, I don't know if it's going to take the Supreme Court or an act of Congress or what, or the president stepping in. I don't know what he can do, but we need to restructure college football, Troy. I hate it. I hate it. Troy, this is my thoughts. Number one, when it comes to every college football, or not college football, but every college sport, they should have their own governing body. And specific to college football, Troy, I don't know how they can do it. I don't know who they're going to pick to serve on their board. But all I know is one thing: Nick Saban should be considered for the commissioner. I think he would do a fantastic job. I think that he would have contracts ready to go so that players can't just leave willy nilly. There has to be commitments. There's legitimate contracts with financial obligations where if you don't fulfill those obligations, you get fined or your contracts, restructuring, making sure that players and coaches fulfill their obligations, or else there's fines or potential terminations of contracts for the players, and they could have a they could have a union, so then there's a collective bargaining agreement, all that good stuff. At this point, Troy, turn college football into a minor league system for the NFL and do it right to make sure, the players get taken care of, but at the same time, the integrity stays in college football and we don't have all this willy-nilly junk.
No, Chris, I agree with you, man. I mean, obviously, you're seeing some big numbers being thrown around with these schools. Makes it tough for the smaller schools to compete somewhat unless you have some really wealthy donors. But man, right now, I mean, like you said, it's kind of the wild, wild west out there, man. There needs to be some
Wild
stuff in
Wild West.
place, and not the Will Smith song, Chris. So, but man, there needs to be some stuff in place right now to make it better for everyone. Like, we need to have a transition time from not only
Yeah.
players, but like coaches too. I mean, no one wants to see their favorite team that's been struggling for years and years finally make I apologize if you're crying in the background. My son is going crazy. But man, no one wants to see a struggling team finally be bowl eligible, make a bowl game, but like their entire staff has already left. Ole Miss was almost I mean, they lost their head coach, but luckily their offensive coordinator has stuck around for the playoffs and hopefully the national championship. And then he's going to go to LSU, which I'm looking forward to that, by the way. But man, I think there needs to be a transition period. So why don't we just begin college football maybe early August? Like, that's when the weather's starting to get better anyway, right? Mid-August even. That way, by the time we're in week 3, week 4, it's already in September. But I don't know, that's just where I'm at on it.
No, Troy, and honestly, for us that are college football purists, it's disheartening to see all this. Like, it takes away from the integrity of the game. It takes away from the integrity of the sport that we fell in love with.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, Troy, because we're not naive. We get it. I mean, even when we were growing up or before then, we understood that there was backdoor deals in college football and players were getting paid,
The
behind
Pony
the scenes.
Express.
Pony Express, or, what Miami was doing, or even Ohio State or whatever. We get it. They were cashing down these players. But at least, Troy, back then, we didn't know about it, or we didn't hear about it, right? And all we saw was these players giving it their all every Saturday. And it made us fall in love with the sport. The pageantry, the passion of the players, the rivalries, all that good stuff. And now the business side of college football, it's starting to pour into the product, man. It's starting to pour into the games where, you have whole coaching staffs leaving. You have players opting out of bowl games. Like, what is that, Troy? Like, so you're telling me that's fair to that fan that saves their money to go to a bowl game near them, such as us, Troy? That, we don't have competitive college football teams every year like other programs. So when the Sun Bowl comes to town, it's exciting for us. And how does that feel to us when we're going to a game? And even though it was a competitive game, there's certain key players not playing because of, business decisions. It's not cool.
Yeah.
Not to call him out. I don't know him, or I don't have any issues, but Sam Levitt, I would have loved to see him play in that game. Who knows if ASU doesn't win that game, or if they win that game if Sam Levitt plays. But
Yeah.
he already decided he was going to transfer or whatever the case, and we didn't get an opportunity to watch him play.
I wanna say, like, he injured his foot, re-injured his foot or something like that, and he just decided to, like, call it. I don't know the severity of it, but you're right. I mean, when you go to wanna watch these teams play, like, man, you wanna watch all the, top dogs that were rooting for all throughout the season play. And it's not fair for the fans. It's really not, just because, um, man, we're the ones investing time and money and support for these schools, right? So I get it. I get people want to make business decisions and they're gonna make some big bucks in the NFL. But man, I don't know. I'm more of and obviously I've never had a chance of going to the NFL, but if, whenever I played, it was more about, the love for the game and, having the opportunity to kind of play with your brothers out there and just kind of enjoy the experience, right? So that's why they make bowl games so fun for these kids because it's all about the experience.
And Troy, hey, everybody, especially adults, right? We have to deal with the realities, the harsh realities of life, right? All the nonsense and crap that makes life difficult. Sports, and in our case, college football, it's a beautiful escape from sometimes the harsh realities of the day-to-day grinds of life. And once that starts getting tainted, it's like, wow, we can't even have that escape. So I just I get the business aspect of it, but put some things into place so that you could give fans that one escape that they have in their life outside of everything else that people have to deal with on a regular days basis.
Yeah. No, and I get it. And like once again, I mean, I played in an all-star game before I went to college and tore my ACL. And I know this isn't compared to like making millions of dollars in the NFL, right? I get this. But for me, it was about the experience. Like I
Sure.
knew a lot of people told me not to play in that all-star game, but guess what, man? I met a lot of cool people during that game and the experience that I got, I wouldn't trade it, man. Even if you told me that I would have played, all 4 years, would have been healthy in college, this and that, man, I still wouldn't have traded anything for it. I think that experience was awesome within itself.
Exactly. No, good stuff, Troy. Well, guys, that's it for episode. Is this 13, Troy, already?
13, man.
Wow.
13. So,
So that's it for episode 13 of Those Guys Podcast. We will be joining you guys soon with some more really good content. So stay tuned.
might have
Ta-
a big announcement later on this week. We'll
Woo!
see. So just be on the lookout and let us know how you guys like the merchandise. Obviously, you see me rocking the shirt stuff. We're like I said, we're playing with designs, playing with logos. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. If you guys like this design, let me know. That way I can order some more. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Definitely. Take
All
care.
right.